Hi, my name is Robert-Shonfelt, and I'm here with Ryan Murray, who will jump in just a second. We're having some audio technical difficulties, so he's going to jump in on his slides, and I'm going to cover the introduction of my slides, and we're going to talk about how to perform a successful test for software testing, quality assurance, Kennesaw State University, spring 2016, with Professor Barbara Bernal. Testing is an integral part of software development. There are two big important reasons for testing. One for verification, one for validation. Verification is the act of ensuring a product is working correctly, that there are little to zero bugs or hiccups to interrupt the user experience. Unit, performance, system, and security testing all fall in this category. Validation is the process of ensuring that the correct system has been built for your client or customer. Functional and acceptance testing both fall within this category. Types of testing altogether, I just talked about it, are unit testing, acceptance testing, functional testing, system testing, performance testing, and security testing are the 6 that we've covered in our presentation here, and we'll jump right in with unit testing.
Yeah, so to cover what Robert said, I pretty much have the same thing as he does, and when you're validating your system, you want to check for, you want to do like black box testing, and when you're verifying your system, you're more likely going to do white box testing. So first testing technique I covered was unit testing. This is almost like integration testing, except instead of testing multiple stubs and a driver at one time, you're only focused on one stub. This way you can isolate your code and be able to have effective team meetings over the code and review logic if there are any issues. Big thing is covering the paths that go in and out of the module. So that's the first thing with unit testing. Robert has acceptance testing.
Acceptance testing is used to determine acceptability by the client and ensure that the program meets all requirements listed at the beginning of the project. It needs to meet the acceptance criteria. The product must perform everything the client needs in the best manner in which the customer needs it. Alpha testing is performing user acceptance testing within the environment in which it was developed, or you can think of this as internally by the company. Beta testing is performing user acceptance testing within the production environment or within the client's environment. So this is like a soft test run for the piece of software or application before it meets the full release.
So functional testing is your basic black box testing. And what you're doing is you're validating that your SRS documentation is correct for the system. You mainly want to cover test cases that will cover almost a good bit of the outputs. You don't want to do exhaustive testing, but you need to create enough test cases according to how many conditions you have to make sure that you cover enough areas. For your test cases, you want to cover positive functional testing, which are valid inputs that the system would actually, that you intend the system to take in. Negative functional testing would be naive testing. So if someone didn't know how to use your program, they would input invalid parameters into your system and try and spit things out when it really can't do that. So you want to check to make sure that your logic is correct and that you're catching any invalid inputs during functional testing. System testing is a mix of black box and white box testing. It focuses more on the entire system rather than just one single module. You are going to test each node or feature inside the system, but again, you want to make sure that you create enough test cases to cover all areas of your system. The testing node edges are like the paths in unit testing, so you want to make sure that those are covered well too.
Performance testing is used to ensure not only can the application perform its required task or tasks, but also within a certain accepted amount of time and at a specific capacity. Load testing is to validate application behavior under normal and peak load conditions. Stress testing is to validate performance when the behavior is to validate performance behavior when the application is pushed beyond normal load applications. And capacity testing is to find the number of users or transactions the application can support and still meet published or promised targets. Security testing is the purpose of assessing a system for the presence of security weaknesses. Vulnerability assessments are using manual assessment techniques and automated tools to search for security issues. Penetration tests are similar to vulnerability assessments, except the testers actually exploit the vulnerability with the goal of emulating a real attacker. This is used to show how bad the risk is of not fixing certain security issues. Dynamic analysis is automated runtime testing. Dynamic analysis tools execute attacks and analyze responses for evidence of success. As you can see, even though the complete testing of an entire system is very involved, there are many tools and established techniques that have been established to make sure the process is done correctly. By taking full advantage of these practices, software engineers can consistently produce quality software for their clients and avoid problems before they arise. Here's our sources, some final thoughts. It's a lot of work to go through a test, but it is very important to ensure that you're going to produce quality software, and all of these principles that have been in place that we learned about, the steps need to be taken so that you don't produce terrible software. Thanks for watching.